After my ride around Paul and hitting onto the rail trail, I had a look to see where else you could go on it, and it turns out the rail trail, which is a Transpennine route, takes you all the way to Hornsea Beach. So that is where I'm going today. So I've started and hooked onto the rail trail from a little village called Sutton-on-Hull, and I'm basically just going to keep on this rail trail until we hit the seaside, which will be really nice, especially with the temperatures today at around 25 degrees. So not as bad as when I was riding around Paul, but still very warm for the UK weather. Quite a breeze today, but still very warm. He was jamming to some music. There's quite a breeze along this route, and I believe that will only pick up as we get closer to the sea, but I'm hoping it'll be quite refreshing once we get there, because it'll be a lot cooler. To say it's the middle of the afternoon in 25, 26 degree heat on a Sunday as well. There's quite a lot of cyclists and runners about. Nice to see people making the most of the weather by getting out and about. Potholes galore. As some of you may know from watching my previous videos, This isn't the terrain that I particularly enjoy. I prefer the more gravelly, off-roady type terrain. However, because I'm training to do the wild boar 50-kilometre challenge, potentially, if I can make the date, I'm more doing this to get in some cycling, build up my endurance. Plus, I absolutely love the seaside. It's one of my favourite places to be. So I think, although the ride itself won't be like fun or anything like that, I think it'll be a nice ride to get to the seaside and build up my endurance for potentially doing the 50-kilometre challenge. From reading about the rail trail and this part of it, I believe the surface will be predominantly paved like this, from what I've read. So this route is perfect for most bikes and you walkers if you just wanted to walk down here. I think it would take you a while if you wanted to walk all the way to Hornsea, but you could give it a go. I believe cycling will take about an hour from what I've read. So not too bad at all. So it's quite hazy today, so a fair few clouds about, so the sun does keep dipping in and out, but it's quite nice when it does go behind the clouds. But the breeze is very hot. I'm already sweating quite a lot. So I've heard cycling is quite popular around Hull because it is just so flat. When I went round Paul, and today I've hardly been up any hills or done any hill climbing, which makes a change from the routes that I normally do. There's been a couple obviously, but predominantly been flat. So it's quite nice if you're just getting started cycling on these routes, actually, thinking about it. the potholes along this route aren't nice, are they? Blimey. I'm riding now towards New Ellerby, which is about the halfway mark to Hornsea, and we're on to the terrain that I much prefer, which is more of the gravelly type rather than just paved, which is a nice surprise because I didn't think I'd get that terrain on this route, so I'm a bit happier now. I don't think he probably thinks I'm absolutely mad talking to myself, especially as he's not seen the camera as he cycled by. I don't think my pace will be great today, as I only just did the Paul route, which was a 30-kilometre bike ride in the 28-degree heat yesterday. But it still should be fairly good. My legs don't feel too bad at all. So I know I'm going a bit slower than my usual pace, but I don't think it's too horrendous. Well, it doesn't feel too horrendous anyway. I'm sure once the coffee kicks in, I'll be like light speed again. Because I've not really drank coffee before, it does have an effect on me at the moment. As I'm riding down here, it looks like there's a lot of routes off from the fields beside this track. It'll be interesting at a later date to see where they go and what routes they are, and potentially do them when I'm next in Hull when I've got my bike. It's been quite nice to bring my bike over to Hull for the weekend and be able to explore some of the routes around here and see a bit more of a, I guess, a nicer side to Hull, because the impression that most people have of Hull is probably not great, with it being such a big city, very busy one at that. But there are actually some really nice, tranquil areas, which is actually really nice to see. round and round we go. Not quite getting the gearing spot on today, which is a shame. But that was a nice little section. Going round the houses to get up the road, and then a nice little hill back into the rail trail. We got some speed and over the bridge. That was a nice fun section with a downhill that you could pick up some speed along over the bridge to a bit of an incline. So I think I must have remembered what I read about the route wrong. And I think actually it was said that it was more of this gravelly terrain rather than the pavement. So I must have remembered that wrong. So just for those who are thinking of coming on road bikes, it might not be as nice for you guys. Apparently, Hornsea Town was expanded in the Victorian era with the Hull to Hornsea Railway in 1864. That's according to my great source of Wikipedia. Another history lesson with Sophie. It's surprising how many people aren't wearing helmets. I just think they're so crucial to safety. Oh, I definitely think we're edging closer to the beach now. The air is a little bit cooler in the breeze. I mentioned in my previous video when I was riding around Paul that I'd forgotten my usual cycling trainers, so I'm wearing my slip-on Skechers, which I was worried wouldn't be very suitable, so I'm wearing them again today, and actually they've got quite a bit of grip. So although they're a bit slidey in the actual shoe, because there's no laces to tighten them, the actual grip on the pedals is really good. I have to say this route is very well signposted. I've been on a couple of routes where they haven't. Transpennine are, from what I've seen in my experience, have been very good at signposting the routes. Looking at the map, we're now just cycling into the Hornsea Town, so we're not far off at all. Definitely think I'll be treating myself to a delicious ice cream by the beach. Can't wait. Oh, I could maybe get some prawns as well. Nom nom nom. Oh no. Oh no. Back on paved. So long, gravel terrain. I shall see you on the way back. Oh, bumpy. Oh, this is better. I'm starting to pick up some pace now. We're now off the rail trail and heading down to the beach. There should be a little mini roundabout. We just go straight on at, and then it's straight down to the beach. And we're here at Hornsea. I've managed to navigate around the town centre, and right in front of me is the sea. And we've arrived at Hornsea Seafront.